Universal message. Mesaj Inivesel. Universal message. Mesaj Inivesel.
Fire burns Babylon system. Fire burns Babylon system. They're burning the earth, no, and killing our youth. But righteousness soon rise and bear the fruit.
Fire under system that trade truth for gold. Fire underground enslaving we bold. They write the story, erase the course. They sell the world from the symbol course. But with the storm that they cannot contain, pulse of the earth, break down this chain. We raise from the dust, reclaim our fame. Fire burn the system, no more games.
They worship the dollar,
Forget about the soul.
but gold cannot buy.
What the truth control.
Every lie cry,
Under the sound of the drum.
I say fire burn the system.
Mesaj Inivesel.
Fire burns Babylon system.
Universal
Babylon
message.
system.
Mesaj Inivesel.
Yes. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Universal Message. Of course, as always, I am your host, Jimmy Alexandre. And again, this is Universal Message. We say welcome. We have a great topic for you tonight. And not to start any controversy or to make anybody feel uneasy, but those are things that we must be able to talk about without anybody getting offended, without anybody running because of questions being asked. Those are things we really must examine, because at the end of the day, what are we passing on to our children? What are we giving our children? Well, tonight's topic is on the question of religion. Religion. Did God create religion, or was it created by man? Food for thought. Again, the question of religion. Created by God or man-made? Here's the question we should start with. What is religion? Did God create religion? Or did humanity create religion? It's a question that has been asked for centuries. It's a question that shapes nations, society. We can even say communities. And tonight, we are not trying in any way, shape, or form to attack religion. But if we believe in something, we must question it. Doesn't make it right or wrong, but we must be able to question it. Where I draw my line is when people accept something without questioning it. They just accept it because grandma did it. Grandpa did it. That's what my parents had brought onto me. This is what I found since I come to know. It's just not enough. Often, people will question those who question religion, but they never question the original acceptance of religion. Again, we are not here to bash religion. We just want to question the things that has dominated our world, our being, for centuries before even you right now listening to this topic have come into know. So we simply want to ask questions, and we are going to examine ideas. We are going to scratch the surface of one of humanity's oldest questions, because before we can understand religion, we must first have an understanding on what religion actually is. And to answer the question, to seek to answer the question, well, is it God-made? Was it created by God, the Creator? Or is it something humanity has put together to find substance or to have something to hold on to? Well, before we continue, our sponsor today, as always, as of right now, is brought to you by Universal Mesaj. Universal Mesaj exists for one purpose: to encourage awareness, to encourage critical thinking. Not to tell you what to believe, but to encourage people to ask questions. Not to tell you what religion to follow, not to tell you what political party to support, but to encourage honest exploration. Because truth does not fear questioning. Only fragile beliefs fear questionings. So, back to our show. What is religion? And I read verbatimly. What is religion exactly? Or is religion a relationship with the Creator? Or is religion a system created by human to organize belief? Before we can discuss whether religion is a good or a bad thing, we must first define what is religion. If we look into the dictionary, you could look for yourself, and I encourage you to do so. Religion is generally defined as a system of beliefs, a system of worship, shared rituals, shared traditions, moral teachings, a community of believers. It's a great thing when you have people say, yeah, we believe in the same thing and we can move forward. But yet when we look at religion itself, there's so many different denominations, yet shared beliefs. Let's explore. Notice something very important as we look at the definition of religion. Notice the definition focuses more on system. It's a system of belief, a system of rituals, not necessarily on spirituality, not necessarily on truths, not necessarily on facts. A system. Well, what is a system? A system is something organized, put together. Well, based on that observation alone, raises a very important question. Is religion about the Creator, or is religion about humanity's attempt to organize belief about the Creator? When we examine the earliest stories of the Bible, we don't immediately find religion, did we? Like your Adam and Eve's, we didn't immediately find religion, did we? Now, some may argue it is because of the fall of Adam and Eve is why religion comes to pass. We look at Cain and Abel, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. When we look at these guys, there were no church system. There was no church. There were no denominations to argue about. There were no religious organizations to say which one is the correct one or which ones are wrong. There were no Baptists, no Methodists, no Catholic, no Pentecost, no Protestants. Those labels simply just did not exist. Instead, we find people attempting to understand and respect respond to what they believe was the voice of God. Well then, the question I propose to you, if religion is necessary, why do we not see organized religion in the earliest biblical stories? Just asking questions. Why? Why in the early stories we did not find religion? Why do we see people instead of institutions? Those were the guys we saw. And again, all was attempting to understand and hear directly from said creator. Adam was never called a pastor. Adam was not called a priest, nor a bishop, nor a prophet. Rather, Adam was a husband. Adam was a father. Adam was simply a human being. And according to the story, he communicated directly to his creator. And some may say, well, that's exactly why today we have to have this system because we can't, because of the fall of Adam, we cannot communicate directly with our creator. Well, Noah did. Moses did. And that was after the fall. Food for thought as we explore. There was no middleman. Adam did not need somebody directly to communicate, nor did Noah. For that matter, nor did Moses. Now, I know that's a point of argument. And please, be advised, more than willing to sit with you respectfully, and we can discuss those type of topics. We can go deep into it, respectfully, where we can both get our point across. Then, in that case, I will ask this question. If direct communication existed in the beginning, why did mankind later feel they needed a mediator? Again, food for thought. Let's consider Noah. Noah was not leading weekly services. He wasn't building a congregation. He wasn't establishing a denomination. He received what he believed was a calling. All my life, I've been told I have a calling upon my life since I was yay high. And if you follow this channel from many years ago, Universal Message, a lot of the stuff, we've turned them into private and don't leave it public. And those who may have followed me then will see I was repeating the same thing across religion platforms that you see today, according to doctrine based on the denomination I was conditioned and programmed into. Knowledge is something rare. True divine knowledge, I've discovered, does not come from universities, does not come from years of sitting inside the institution of religion and whatever denomination that may be. Self-studying made a significant difference in my life. Seeking, I truly found. Instead of repeating, accepting, since I couldn't understand or get my questions answered. I discovered personally the answers. And in all the studying, the answers truly lies within. The codes truly lies within. Through meditation, deep and honest search, not afraid of hearing questions that made me uncomfortable. In the process of truly going through what they call cognitive dissonance. Things being revealed in dreams and through meditation, while the next day I have to stand there and go preach a sermon based on things that was revealed. That just, man, that sermon, yeah, while it sounds good, based on today's doctrine, based on what they expect you to say, based on what you were conditioned and programmed to say. That was in contrary on what was being revealed. One does not necessarily need one to reveal, but if you seek, you go to your secret place and you close your doors, then yes, you truly seek wholeheartedly, it can and will be revealed to you. Can't find it if you're scared of certain questions that does make you feel uncomfortable, that does challenge what you have built your whole identity with. But that's something every individual must seek for yourself. But of course, it is a lot easier to repeat after the middleman. Then it becomes the question, well, is it the message or is it the middleman, the messenger, quote unquote? What makes that messenger different than you? Now, we all have our own talents. We all have our strengths as well as our weaknesses. And it is up to us to truly, wholeheartedly seek what they are. But here is what is certain. If you seek, then you too will find. And to find, you must not be afraid of questioning the very thing you have accepted as your truth, the very thing you have accepted as your belief. As we continue, Noah was not building a religion, nor was Noah responding to what he believed was truth. Abraham became the father of faith. Very interesting individual. He was known as the father of faith. Did Abraham have an overhead? A middleman that told him what was being said? No. But he became the father of faith, as most religion know it. Not the father of religion, but the father of faith. His story centered around what? The trust and the belief he had, not on what the middleman said, but what was being communicated to him directly. So I question, what is the difference between you or I and Abraham? He heard, he trusted, and he believed. Not based on what he was listening to on weekly services by the middleman, but directly from the source, Creator. Abraham's story was centered around belief, around action, obedience, not institutions, not instructions by the middlemen, not interpretation by the middlemen, but direct, not denomination. Well, how about Moses? What middleman taught Moses? Well, Moses, some may argue that things begin to change. I agree. When we get to Moses, things begin to change. Well, for the first time, we begin seeing law given to a people. Commandments, guidelines, rules for living together, rules for justice. Rules for community. Pause. When we say rules for community and so on, even today, as we follow Bible through these middlemen, let's not even get to the lifestyles. We'll save that for another segment. Even today, are we really following those rules? Oh, my bad, I forgot. Some denomination told you, well, those rules was for a different time. Those rules was for a different segment of people. Because why? The Creator have different group of people and he has different set of rules for them. That's what I would understand based on that analogy. Different set of rules for different religions. Different set of rules for different people. But here, Moses got rules and instruction for what? A community. Maybe that's the difference between the organizations we have today in contrast to who and what is the divine source. So the question I ask, did God create religion? Or did God create laws intended to help people function as a society? Well, I don't know. Well, if there were rules to help people know how to behave and act in a society, at which point was it changed? But you know the hypocritic part of this? Even when I was in religion and I was a pastor in preaching, what I found to be the hypocritic part of it was that while we're saying God never changes, the same God that was there back then is here today and will be forevermore. And there's a passage that even says, if one word were to change from the mouth of God, then that would prove God to be a liar. But yet, we accept somehow, some way, whatever those rules were for Moses, it changed for you today. I guess that's what helps define and maintain the religion of today. You see, because of the fact we don't truly understand what those laws and those rules were for, and because of the institution of religion, it does indeed make it a little bit easier to maneuver. Almost like man-made laws, like politics. Constantly politics, laws are changing. We're going to amend certain laws depending on which group comes into power. We're going to amend. Why? So we need to be able to tweak it a little bit to make it fit our needs. So we do not find it hypocritical. The same God we say we are serving, somehow, some way, these laws change certain things we don't have to do no more. I know, I get it. Some of you right now screaming at the screen. Don't you understand? Christ came and he changed that. But wait, stop, hold up, wait a minute. Did Christ himself in the New Testament, did he not say that not a word would change from his Father's points? Not a letter? That of himself he did nothing but of the Father? But none of these folks will be able to show you where that God says things has changed because he came. In fact, he said he did not come to change, he came to accomplish. Well, a lot of people interpret the word accomplish to mean that it is done, so that means the law is done over. But the same hypocritic folks will tell you nothing from the word, from the mouth of God will ever change. Same Christ, you said that changed things. Well, he said, the world may pass, but not one single letter will change. That's a little bit hypocritic, isn't it? Those are the questions I seek to ask when I was drinking the wine, her wine, from her bosom. When I asked, nobody could have given me a straight answer. But through meditation, through deep search, from the very source of the Creator, I understand. Because we must ask those questions. We must seek to answer those questions. And if those questions make you uncomfortable, that's a problem. How can we help others if we ourselves don't truly understand? How can we ask others to just accept and believe something when they have questions unanswered? I had to live through that. It's not a pleasant feeling. But we can choose to accept without understanding. And like my mother used to say, work hard, just do it. Then, after you die, and you go to heaven, don't worry, God will make it clear for you. He'll bring understanding. Those questions will be answered. Like I often said, I don't know about you, I would rather the answers now so I can decide, so I can know. Because there's a lot of choices. Do we not agree? As we continue, history has shown repeated patterns. People often prefer certainty over uncertainty. Facts. People often prefer leaders over responsibility. People often prefer being told what to do rather than carrying the burden of deciding themselves. See, like that, we can blame somebody. Well, it was the pastor's fault. The pastor had said it. The pastor lied. Accountability is something that no matter what sector, business, no matter what it is, often as human beings, we want to avoid. It's a lot easier to point the finger, not realizing how about the ones pointing at you, because it's telling you that's where it should come from. That's where it should come from. So, people often prefer leaders over responsibility. People often prefer being told what to do rather than carrying the burden of deciding themselves. This happens in religions, politics, and as I just mentioned, even the business, the workplace. Culture. They have a leader for that culture. That's why I often say, I do not need to vote a man to tell me what to do with my life. Because if the Creator spoke with Abraham, Moses, then why can he not speak to me? Am I not his createe? Are you not his createe? But the fear of accountability, the fear of being wrong, make it easier to go ahead and accept what you're being told. And never mind the fear of the unknown, which is one of the very dominating facts about us, mankind. Not knowing, the fear of not knowing. And that's how we are controlled, dominated, programmed, conditioned, and that's how we are where we are today. So I ask the question, is humanity seeking God, or is humanity seeking someone who claims to speak for God? Let that sink in. Then ask yourself personally, what are you looking for? We're not bashing. We're just questioning. Now, because of those very different things, we have to question truly what is religion. If religion is a system, then what? Then what exactly are faith and spirituality? If it's a system, then what is faith and spirituality? What is it that you believe in? The system? Just like a political system? Is it just another mechanism to just continue to dominate, control, and program us? Sheep's being led to the slaughterhouse. But it is said many, many times to help stand that belief system that we are choosing to go with. Is faith and spirituality the same thing? Is it? Spirituality versus faith, is it the same thing? Or are they entirely different? You ask yourself that. Now, let's move on to faith, spirituality, and religion. Again, are they the same thing? Here's the question we need to ask ourselves. When someone say, I have faith, what does that mean? What does that mean? What do they mean? Or when someone say, I am spiritual, which is not a new thing. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Well, again, I'm spiritual. What does that mean? What do they mean? You're not religious, you're spiritual. What exactly is it? What's the difference? Well, when someone say, I am religious, we seek to understand. I will tell you what I think. When somebody say, I'm religious, that just tell me you believe in whatever religious system, whether it is you are a follower of Christ, Christian, or any other one of the many, many different religions, Hindu and so on. Because even when you look at Christianity, like we said, there's different ones we can go with. Is it Catholic? Is it Protestant? Is it a Jehovah's Witness? Followers, believers in Jesus Christ. Even within that, we see all the different segments, different system. Who is it truly benefiting? Is it you, the follower? You could argue it is benefiting you because you have the right path. You're on the right path. What's to prove that? What's to confirm that? What is to solidify that? Between you or the Catholic? Between you or the Protestant? Yet you all are followers of Christ. Now we start to really look at a system, aren't we? We really start to look at institutions, are we not? Cognitive dissonance is a real thing. But when you can surpass that and overcome it, that's when true knowledge begins to sink in. Not always easy, but trust me, it feels better. I remember as a child, some of the most bitter medications that was given when I wasn't well, they're the ones that work quicker once they take effect. And some of the ones that was a lot easier to consume sometimes takes a little longer before you can get an effect out of it. Now you let that sink in. Most people uses these terms easily. Religious, spiritual, easily, whichever fit the moment. But are they actually the same thing? I beg to differ. Or are they three very different concepts when we talk about faith, religious, or religion, or spirituality? Well, what is faith? Well, faith. Faith is trust. Faith is confidence. Faith is belief in something that cannot always be proven. Faith is believing in something that may not always be proven. That's faith. And despite what one may think, we all have faith. Some may have faith on their spouse. Some may have faith on their children. Some may have faith on whatever it is. But even an atheist has faith. Just believing in something that you just cannot prove, but that's just what you subscribe to. That's what you are believing. That's faith. Can it always be proven? No. That's faith. Abraham, as we said, often called the father of faith, not the father of religion, not the father of spirituality, but the father of faith. Trusting something he could not fully see. The question is, what is faith? If faith exists, before religion. Somebody said, in order to be part of this religion, be part of this sect, you gotta have faith. Well, faith existed before religion. Because even the one we call the father of faith had faith prior to the system of religion we have today. Then, what if religion came after faith? Which we can say it did. Because back then we didn't really have religion, did we? So let's move on. What is spirituality? Spirituality is often more personal, more individualized, more internal. Spirituality asks questions such as, who am I? What am I? Why am I here? What happens after death? And that very fear right there, a lot of these organizations will play on. That very fear right there. Is there something greater than myself? This is the question of spirituality. And if there is, what is it? That's questioning. Spirituality is often about connection. Connection to what? Source, the creator. Some say nature. Some say humanity. Some say purpose. Some say meaning. All of which are things that we as human, in one form or another, seeks. Some of us claim to find those answers within religion. But clearly, religion, spirituality are two different things. Would you not agree? Which is a very interesting observation because many people today identify as spiritual, but not religious. Many people today identify as being spiritual and not religious because they feel connected to something greater. Yet, they do not necessarily connect with a religious institution. That weekly obligation that you invest your time, energy, money into, while you have your troubles, your struggles, and in the process of helping the middlemen get over the very same problems, issues that you deal with, but you just made it easier for them. You help them do that because you want them to sit down so that the power, God, can continue speaking to them to tell you what to do. What's the difference between that and politics? Food for thought. I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm just asking. Just remember, I'm here to encourage you to ask questions. Can someone be spiritual without being religious? Is that possible? Can someone be religious without being spiritual? Is that possible? Well, then what is religion? We said religion. Religion often adds structure. Sounds like a system, doesn't it? Religion often adds organization. Yeah, I agree. Religion often adds authority. I ask, whose authority? What authority? Religion often includes leadership, rules, traditions, rituals, institutions, buildings, membership. I'll let that sink in. Does religion strengthen faith? I would say it does. Or does religion sometimes replaces faith? I would say that does too. Depends on the individual, on the listener. Here's a real life example of this. Let's say a person who never attended church, never belonged to a domination or denomination, yet they spend time reflecting, yet they are more than willing, always helping others wholeheartedly with no hidden agendas, seeking truth, trying to live honestly. Whereas person B attends every service, plays a great role in their church, yet treats people poorly, manipulate others. And those are the folks who's always quick to tell you, well, I'm a Christian, or I am this, I am that. Shows little compassion. And compassion to them is according to their understanding and the eyes of the beholder and the heart of the beholder when it suits them. So my question to you, which one of those two, person A or person B, do you think is closer to what the Creator intended? The religious person who attends every service, who plays a vital role within that religion, within your church? Or that person A, who wholeheartedly seek and want to help people, simply seeking truth? Now, if you've gotten this far in this segment, I'd like for you to attempt to answer that question. So you might want to ask, so what's the difference? Why does this matter? Well, many people spend their entire lives focusing on religious identity, to be identified as a good, whatever your belief is, as a good Christian, as a good Muslim, as a good Jewish, as a good Hindu, as a good Buddhist, as a good Catholic, as a good Protestant, and we can go on and on and on. They spend their time want to convince others that they are this good individual according to their organization, according to their institution, according to their belief. When I said, don't tell me, allow your action to show me. I personally get extremely very uncomfortable every time I'm talking to somebody and one of the first things they want to tell me, well, I'm a good Christian. As if that's supposed to do something for me. That's supposed to make me gain trust in you. That's supposed to be a password, a free pass card. That you are a good Christian, that you are a good Muslim, that you are a good Hindu, whatever it is. Don't tell me. Rather, show me. Good old saying, action speaks louder than words. Don't tell me. Show me. Because those titles, what do they really mean? Other than to let me know you are affiliated with XYZ organization. That you are affiliated with XYZ system, institution. I'm just human. I'm just a person seeking truth. So don't tell me. Don't tell me. Let your actions show me. Often it's very easy to tell a man, every day you're wearing this one shirt. Do you not have any other clothes? You need to get other clothes. Versus, hey, brother, every day you're wearing this shirt. Here's a couple more. I had some extra ones. I have 6 pairs. I guess I don't need all 6 pairs. Here is 2 of the 6 I have so you can switch up sometimes. So instead of criticizing, talking about it, do something about it. Like we said, Abraham, it was about action. Not the mere words. He didn't have to go around telling people what he was affiliated with, what belief system he subscribed to. but it was action. And that's what got them closer to the Creator. Maybe, just maybe, it was that personality that made it possible for him to hear directly from the Creator without the middleman. Now, to be a middleman is a good business. I'm a salesman. It's a good business to be in, the middleman. So then, what if we ask larger questions, such as, what religion are you? Then people are quick to try to impose and tell you and why their religion is the best. Maybe instead of saying, what religion are you? Maybe we should ask the question, what kind of person are you? What kind of person are you seeking to become? That's maybe. That would open us up enough that we may be able to hear directly when we truly seek. Not outside of us like you were trained, conditioned, programmed to do, but going into your secret place. Bring no thoughts. Going into your secret place. Close your doors. Maybe there we can find real answers. There we can find real solutions. Not just for self, maybe for the whole. What kind of person are you? Faith. Faith asks, what do I believe? Spirituality asks, why do I exist? Religion asks, how should belief be organized? Did you catch that? Let's try it again. Faith asks, what do I believe? Spirituality asks, why do I exist? And religion asks, how should belief be organized? If every religious label disappeared tomorrow, every religion domination disappeared tomorrow, would your relationship with the Creator still exist? Or does your connection depend upon one of those labels? I'll let you sit on that for a minute. Let that soak in for a minute. If you hear that bell, you know what time it is. Hot topic. Hot topic. What is our hot topic for today? Why are so many people leaving organized religion? Look it up. Do the research. A lot of people are leaving organized religion. And the question is why? Recent years shown a growing trend. More people identify as spiritual but not religious, unaffiliated, non-denominational, independent thinkers. The question is, are people abandoning God? God forsake. Or are they abandoning institutions? Those are two very different things. And I let you think about that as you look at your own path, as you look at your own belief, as you look at your own acceptance. You think about that. In closing, if every church building disappeared tomorrow, if every denomination disappeared tomorrow, if every religious title disappeared tomorrow, would humanity still be searching for the Creator, God? And if the answer is yes, then perhaps the search itself is older than religion. Tonight, we ask a simple question. Did God create religion? Or did humanity create religion? Next time, we will go deeper. We will examine the Bible itself. We will ask the question whether or not those things we read in the Bible, are they literal stories? Are they facts? Are they truth? Are they things that actually happened? Or are they just symbolic teachings? We will look at certain individuals that has been bended, that maybe some of you have never heard of unless you go to deep search, excommunicated simply because they dare to question religion. They dare to question what you held as your belief. Truth should not be afraid of being questioned at any given time. Truth should stand and rise above all question and prove to be truth. Concretely, not abstractly. Because if we go abstractly, then it deviates. Because we can say one universe, but different world. And in this world, what I see may not be the same you see in your world. And that's abstract. Concretely, we can all come to terms. Ancient wisdom needs to be looked at and questioned entirely. Because before we can understand religion as it is today, we must understand the book that has shaped much of what is religion. So, when we come to part 2 of this segment, we will seek to go even deeper to understand. We must question everything. We encourage you to question everything. We must. We simply must. And if your middleman is telling you, do not allow people to question, you just gotta believe, you just gotta have faith, you accept it as that, that's a you problem. Because belief is nothing more than what you accept as your truth. We said it many times. So I thank you for taking the time, as you have a lot of options, especially today. And to take this much time sharing these thoughts, I appreciate you truly. And like me, that means you are somebody looking for truth and not just merely accepting what you were told. Because if the greater power, our Creator, was able to speak to these men, then why can He not speak to me? Why can He not speak to you? Why must we have a middleman? Capitalizing out of the whole process. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Help the channel grow. Maybe somebody needs to hear that to understand that, you know what, I must question. I must be able to think for myself, for I too am an individual. For I too have all the requirements that this individual has. Then I too must be able to hear and understand. Not to say we cannot help another. Not to say some of us are not more advanced than the other. It's always good to have a mentor. Somebody you can vibe and share thoughts with. that's not going to judge you or downplay you just because you're questioning things, but somebody who understands the necessity to question things before just accepting things. That's a good thing. Always a pleasure to be with you. This has been another great episode of Universal Message. Again, my name is Jimmy Alexandre, your host. Until next time, I will see you in part 2.
Universal Message. Mesaj Inivesel. Universal Message. Mesaj Inivesel.